One morning in Alexandria, Virginia, a police officer entered a restaurant in full uniform, only to be refused service by the staff. Little did they know, they were about to get a taste of sweet justice. This officer, like anyone else, faced her share of risks, challenges, and achievements every day on the job. But she approached each day with the same determination and faith, no matter what came her way. For this officer, a typical day at work involved routine patrols, issuing a few traffic warnings to speeding drivers, and occasionally mediating disputes between feuding neighbors. No matter the task, she always upheld the core values of her profession: resilience, patience, and integrity. Whether she was in a restaurant, grocery store, or out on the streets, she carried herself with professionalism. This earned her the respect of many locals. However, as she was about to find out, not everyone appreciated her presence. As lunchtime approached, the detective was still immersed in her work, unaware that her day was about to take a sudden turn for the worse. Soon, she would find herself in a challenging situation, one that would later make headlines. That evening, after the usual tasks, tired and hungry, this detective suddenly started craving noodles for dinner. She was so famished that she told herself she could finish a big bowl of noodles right on the spot. So she got into her car and drove to the local Noodles and Company restaurant on Duke Street. She had visited the restaurant a few times before and had always enjoyed the service, but this evening would prove very different from what she was used to. When she walked in, she was glad to see that the line wasn't long. However, it took every ounce of patience to wait for her turn. A family was waiting to be served before her. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but then, the detective suddenly noticed one of the cooks come out to the register and walk up to the cashier. From the way the cook stared at her, the detective didn't even need her police instincts to know something was wrong. It would have been obvious to anyone. "You better pull me off the line because I am not serving that," the cook told the cashier, gesturing to the police officer. Although the officer had seen the cook pointing in her direction, she was confused. So she turned around, thinking perhaps the cook was referring to someone else. But when she looked around, everyone's eyes were on her. It was clear she was the one being singled out. The police officer wasn't sure what she had done to deserve such treatment, but she suspected it was because she was in uniform. But when had there ever been a rule against serving people in uniforms? None that this police officer knew of. What happened next made the situation even more pathetic. When the cook and the cashier saw that their words had hurt the officer, they laughed. This reaction would have infuriated almost anyone, but the police officer knew she had to stay calm and prevent the situation from escalating. It took all her willpower to resist causing a scene. Eventually, she said, "I guess you don't want my money," and then she left. As she walked out, the cook and the cashier laughed even harder, clearly enjoying the discomfort they had caused the officer. They never imagined that their actions would soon leave a sour taste in their mouths. Although the cop walked away without the noodles she had come for, she wasn't done with the incident. She knew she had to get justice, but the right way. Back at work, Melanie recounted her experience to Police Chief Earl Cook, who was angered by her treatment. He acknowledged that her initial response was valid given the current tensions. Earl was surprised, however, when she mentioned she had left without expressing her feelings. He commended her restraint, recognizing it could have avoided further conflict. Curious about the incident, he contacted the restaurant, which confirmed the situation and issued an apology, promising to address the issue. Their actions ultimately received public approval. The restaurant investigated the case and found the staff members guilty. They released an official statement detailing the measures they had taken to ensure the staff didn't go unpunished. The views and actions of these individuals were inexcusable and do not reflect those of the company or the rest of the staff at the Duke Street location. We have concluded that the two team members in question acted inappropriately, and we immediately terminated their employment. We have the utmost respect for law enforcement officials and value the relationship we have built with the local Alexandria Police Department over the years, they wrote. Soon enough, the story gathered a lot of attention in the media and public. Almost everyone had something to say. Some locals saw it as the perfect opportunity to raid the restaurant, wanting to teach them a lesson for hiring bad staff. No one knows how things could have turned out if not for the police's quick intervention. Using all their social media channels, the police informed the public that they wouldn't approve of any destruction of property. This approach worked, and the angry mob backed down. Pete Feltham, a representative of the Alexandria Police Union, also stated that the restaurant shouldn't be judged based on the actions of a few people. He also applauded the restaurant for cooperating fully with the police. The incident even drew the attention of Alexandria Mayor Alison Silberberg. She was impressed with how swiftly and thoroughly Noodles and company handled the situation and issued a full apology. "We appreciate Noodles and company's swift and thorough response and full-throated apology for this unfortunate situation. After an extensive dialogue with the company's regional and national leadership, we are satisfied that this situation was an anomaly and should not reflect on the company or its other hardworking employees," she said. Fortunately, this statement was made just as the company was receiving several negative reviews, and it helped to restore their reputation. "I don't think the company should be judged based on the mistakes of a few staff members, and it's good that they were fired. Hopefully, it will serve as a lesson to others," someone remarked. To prevent such an incident from happening again, the restaurant went a step further by placing signs on its doors expressing their support for the police. After hearing the story, I couldn't help but wonder, what if the cook and cashier hadn't behaved the way they did? Perhaps they would still have their jobs. They also could have spared their friends and family from the backlash their actions undoubtedly caused. Whenever we step outside our homes, we can never predict when we might encounter someone who deliberately tries to provoke us. It's always wise to walk away. You never know how such unpleasant situations might escalate. I'm really keen to know your thoughts on this story, so please don't hesitate to share your insights in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and found it engaging, I invite you to subscribe to our channel for more similar content. Feel free to share this video. Take good care of yourselves, and I'm excited to connect with you in our future videos.